Hey, hello guys. So today we will look into the understanding of the Azure Resource Manager library. Okay. So we will try to programmatical control over the Azure Resource Manager, and so that will helps us to reduce the dependencies on the DevOps, SRE, and Azure Administrator in small scale organization. Okay. So we will try to understand the Azure integration using the simple C#. So the integration will comprises of the Application Gateway and the Azure Service, App Service. Okay, so these are the basic libraries that I have used. So it is the Azure Identity to create the Azure credential, and so this is the Azure Resource Manager for the compute to handle the compute of the app services, and this is the Azure Network Resource Manager tool. It is there, so that to create the VNet and this subnet, and this is the Azure Resource Manager App Service. It is for the create the app service. Okay, so this is the .NET framework I have used, .NET 8.0, and this is the .NET SDK it is there. Okay, now let's try to understand how the code is arranged here. Okay, so before going into the furthermore into the code, we will try to understand the architecture of the application gateway components. Okay, so these are the basic application gateway components are there. So this is the front-end IP. So that will help us to the interact with the application gateway. Okay, so this is the listener. So whenever the any request comes into the that IP, so it will redirect to that listener, and then it will the listener furthermore will check for the certificates. Okay, so that certificates we have kept into the different resource group it is there. Okay, so the listener then will check for the port to handle the SSL offload. So furthermore, so this is the important stuff it is there. The HTTP rules it is there. So the HTTP rule will comprises of the HTTP setting and the backend pool it is there. So backend pool is nothing but the app service. We will have the address of the host name of the that app service, and that will be mapped to the backend pool. Okay, so whenever the IP that is backend front-end IP is hit from the user, so it will redirect to the backend pool host name address. Okay, so in HTTP settings, so it is the port and timeout and probe it is there, but we are not going to the customize the custom probe. So the most of the times so HTTP setting is by default it is there. Okay, so let's try to understand how the components are mapped into our code. Okay, okay, so this is the Azure credential and Azure tenants ID I have faced. Okay, so this is the basically very free subscription it is there. All right, so we will go to the run sample it is there. It is the simple variable, so we will discuss into the furthermore in code. And so subscription here I have created the default library, default subscription I have picked up. Okay, and furthermore this is the resource group. Okay, so this is the resource group we are going to create. Okay, so the resource group name will be the my resource group AG. Okay, all right, and here we are going to create the virtual network. Okay, now we will go to our created diagram own diagram. Okay, so let's maximize this one. This is the resource group, my resource group AG it is there. Okay, and we will come to the public IP there. Okay, in the next. Okay, so this is the my VNet it is there. I am going to create my own virtual network it is there. So this is going to create a new virtual network along with the our subnet. Okay, so in Azure, to interact with the resources each other, we need to create the subnet for each and every resource. Okay, so this is CIDR notation, it is there for that IP. Okay, okay, so let's try to understand how exactly CIDR work. Okay, standard. Okay, so here each digit represent 8 bits. Okay, this one. Okay, so it means 32 bits are there, and the slash 24 means 8. So 8 divided by 8, it means only one place you can do change. This is nothing but your hosting address in the subnet. Okay, so this can vary. This can vary your IP address likewise to this one, to 50 to 55. Okay, it could be 1, 2. Okay, so this means the host this is the networking address will be the stable, and the only the host address will get changed. Okay, that's all. Okay, so I created only one subnet, it is there, that will be integrated for the our application gateway. Okay, now let's see how the virtual network I have created here. Okay, okay, so here no, it is the CIDR notation, it is 16. So means only 2 digit will be changed. Okay, 32 minus 16, it is the 16. 16 divided by 8 means 2. So only 2 places will get changed as a hosting address. So this is the resource group location, that is the by default. Here Canada central, it is there. Okay, and this is the address prefixes, and this is subnet. All right, here I am going to create virtual network. We will also debug the application. Okay, so it is just introduction of the how the code is arranged. Okay, and this is the web app service. Okay, so before going to the web app, so it is necessary to have the app service plan, it is there. So we will look into that one. Okay, so app service plan is nothing but SKU, stock keeping unit, it is there. Okay, and so that app a plan will get created according to SKU, and the kind, it is app. Okay, okay, so now let's look into the application gateway components. This is the public IP. Okay, so this public IP will get sent to the front end IP, it is there, that is we have looked into. Okay, and in our application, in our diagram, it is this one, public IP VK IP1. This is what. Okay, so this is the application front end IP configuration, it is there. Front end IP configuration, it is there, and application gateway front end port. Okay, and this is the back end. So this is how we are mapping our FQDN. Okay, fully qualified domain name, it is there, and so that will nothing but our web app address, it is there. This is what. Okay, Okay, so I am going to create a backend pool in the next line. This is the HTTP setting. The most of the time, this is the by default. Okay. Here also you need to map host name. So this is the most important stuff. It is there. Mapping the host name and mapping the FQDN is the most important stuff here. Okay. So we have done with the HTTP setting. Now we will look into the application listener, HTTP listener and route. We also have done with address pool. Just a minute. Yes, backend pool it is there. We also done with that one. And in our diagram, yes, listener. Okay. Now we will look into the listener and role. Okay. So this front-end port ID is nothing but that port is mapped to the that resource ID. This one. Okay. Well. Okay. So whenever any request comes to the application gateway IP, so it will go to the listener. Okay. So then listener route to the routing rule rules it is there. Okay. So we have assigned the listener here and the backend pool address for the routing rules, and this is the backend HTTP setting ID, and this is the simple app gateway, application gateway it is there. So we will look into that one also. Okay. Okay. So before jumping into the debugging, we will check all the resources are clear. Okay. And one thing it is there, the certificate it is there. Okay, so that certificate here I have kept into the backup resource group it is there. Okay, so whenever I clean my resource, so whenever clean my resource group AG, so that certificate each and every time will be the safe there. Okay, it will not get deleted. Okay, so let's confirm this resource group is not available and it is not existing there. Okay, so let's try to run the application it is. Okay, so here I fetch the client ID and tenant ID based on my free subscription. Okay, I have created the ARM client here. Okay, going into the run sample function. Okay, so this is the resource group. This is my virtual network name. App service plan it is there. Apps app name it is there. Public IP and the location it is the Canada location. Canada Central it is there. I have picked up my default subscription here. Okay, so it is good. Here I am going to the create resource group. Okay, so I will wait for to complete it by marking as a wait until completed. This is the resource group name and this is the resource group data it is there. It is nothing but location it is there. Okay, Okay, let's see whether our resource group is created or not. Okay, it will get reflect. Just a minute. Okay, my resource group AG it is there. Perfect. Now let's add our customized resources into that resource group. Okay. Okay, I'm going to the create virtual network along with that subnet. Okay, so this is the subnet I have created first one and assigned to that subnet to the virtual network. So let wait for to complete that one also. Okay, perfect. Now exception is occurred means everything work fine. We will go into that resource group. Let's do the refresh. Yeah, subscription is free trial. Great. Our virtual network is created here. Let me minimize this one. Let's go into the subnet. Yeah, my age subnet it is there. Perfect. Okay. Now I will create the application service plan data. Okay. So this is nothing but we are instructing to the Azure, please keep this kind of the configuration for that application service that we are going to create in next line. Okay. So creating the application service plan. Okay. Let's try once again. It might be there sometimes in that location the stock keeping unit is not available. So sometimes it throws in such error. Okay, let's try once again. Oh, great. So this application plan is created. Let's try to create the website first. So we will look, meanwhile, we will look into the how this work. Okay. So I am marking this application as a application and under the Linux. Okay. Here, oh great. So without exception, it goes means the app service is created. All right. This is the most important stuff we need to take care of. Okay. We need to map the proper hosting name here. Okay. So here it is the Vijay Kherde Azure Websites.net. Okay. So this is the exactly we need to create the certificate for this one. I will also help to you how we can create the certificates. Perfect. Create the public IP for that gateway components. Okay, let's. Okay, I am creating here marking as a static, and this is the SKU. Okay, whenever you comes across the Azure resources, so most of the time SKU come into the picture. It is the stock keeping unit. Okay, so now we will create that public IP. Oh, perfect. That is also is created there. Okay. Now let's look whether these three resources are being created or not. Okay. Let's go into the resource group. Okay. Oh, great. So this is the public IP1, and the our application also is being configured here, and the yeah, it is running there. Let's browse that one. This will take some time. Okay. Now let's jump into the furthermore code debugging. Okay, so this is the front end components. It is there. I am going to create the gateway IP configuration. So that is mapped to the that subnet. Okay, whenever the we hit the IP for that application gateway, so this subnet will handle all the stuff. I will create the furthermore front end IP configuration. It is there. Okay, so this is the public IP. So that public IP we will check. We will look what exactly it is now generated there. Public IP BK IP1. Yes, perfect. So this IP, it is being generated. Now this IP will get mapped to the front-end IP configuration. Okay, so whenever we will hit this IP into the web browser, the application gateway should navigate to the that app service after creating the application gateway. So furthermore, port mapping it is there. Okay, address pool. We will create the address pool here. Yes, so this is the FQDN is nothing but our web app address. It is there. This is what it is being running. Okay, and we are creating the backend address pool here. Yes, now this is the listener. I am going to configure here. Okay, this is the listener. That is the front-end IP configuration here we have created. This one. Okay. Gateway IP configuration is different, and front-end IP configuration is different here. Okay. Do not get confused about the gateway IP configuration and front-end IP configuration. Okay, here the routing rules it is there. How to handle that request, what to do with that request it is there. Sorry. Okay, so now furthermore, stock keeping units come into the picture, and this is the new resource for that application gateway. Here, most important stuff, I have marked it is as enable HTTP 2. Okay, this is the 2.0 version HTTP. Okay, so I am adding that each and every instances into that collection. Backend setting collection, IP configuration, gateway IP configuration, front-end ports it is there, HTTP listener it is there, rules are there. Okay, now let's create the application gateway. Okay, so this is also will take some time. This is the time consuming it is there. Let's wait to complete that one. Let's see whether our application is up or not. Yes, perfect. The gateway timeout it is there. Okay, let's try it is one more time. So it said site cannot be reached or something. It is not there. It means that so that IP is configured and a web app it is mapped to that IP. It is perfectly. Just let's see what is happening behind the scene. Okay, perfect. It is also it is being configured furthermore. Yes, my app gateway it is there. Yeah, it is being configured. Configured it is there. Just a minute. Yes, so this is the public IP. It is being mapped there. Okay, 20.63.12.125. Let's see what is there in that public IP. It is pointing to the public wiki IP. Yeah, exactly that one. Yeah, it is the. It will take some time. So meanwhile, what we will do, we will try to manage some code, and that will we will push into that repository. Okay, so let's go to the DevOps. Yes, come on. So this is the sample repository here I have created there. So we will upload our own published website into the that app service. Yeah, simple web application sample. So we will also try to understand how the pipeline will work for that app service mapping. So this is the pipeline. Yeah, this is the repository it is there. And we will try to understand how the pipeline will work. So this is the task helper it is there. So this is the trigger. Okay, which branch we need to trigger that one. So this is the master branch it is there. Okay, here I was getting some exception for the VM image. So I replace it by Windows latest. Okay, and oh, perfect. So this is the application gateway is up now. Perfect. Perfect. So let's try this application gateway. Just a minute. Just a minute. Why it is taking some time? It is the gateway timeout. It is saying it might be because of the region. It is based on the region configuration. Okay. So perfect. This is the app service application. It is there. Okay. Your web app is running and the waiting for the your content. Okay. Now let's go with the that IP that is we have created, and let's try to hit that IP. Perfect. So that when we hit that IP, it is redirected to that host name. That is, we have created that application. So that's all. This is the means how the means application gateway redirection works. Okay. Now we will try to understand how the our pipeline is configured and mapped to that our application. Okay. So this is the branch we have I have mapped. Okay, and this is the agent pool. It is there. So this is the nothing but the virtual machine. It is there, and this is the basic variables. What are the means file type that we need to process, and this is the configuration of that solution file. Okay, so this is the NuGet tool installer. This is the task. Okay, whenever we talk about one ML file, so at least it is having one some job. So that is the without job keyword we can assume that means this is default job it is there. Okay, so there is no explicit job keyword is mentioned. No need to mention that job keyword. So this is the NuGet command. Okay, and this is the this will help to map the NuGet command. Okay, so this is the VS build it is there. Okay, and this is the some arguments, predefined arguments are there. So I am not going to modify those one. And this is the configuration. This is everything is predefined it is there. You just need to pick it from the assistant, task assistant. Okay, let's check VS build. Okay, forget about this that one. So this is the predefined template it is there. I am not going to change. So this is the VS test. It is there. Same to pass the test unit test there. .NET Core CLI. So .NET Core. Yes, this one. Okay. So here free trial I am going to pick up, and so I have already configured. So I will not do changes for that one. So here you need to check whether you have to restore the .NET DLL from the NuGet packages. So what is the task? What is the task you have to map? You can map here. Okay. So same I have done with the .NET build. It is there. Okay. So this is nothing but .NET build, and here the .NET publish. Okay. So this will publish the DLL into the this is publish. Okay. So this will publish our web project, and this is the most important stuff here. So Azure Resource Manager web app deployment. So what this will do, this will publish, this will copy all the DLL that has been published into the this task, that has been published from this task to that our web host name. Okay, so let's hide, cancel. How I can assign? Okay, web package for Linux. Okay, so here, furthermore, what we'll do, we will also look into the FTP hosting there. Okay, let's try to run this pipeline. Run. I will pick up the branch, master branch. It is there. Run. It is there. This is also time consuming process. Let's see what is happening behind the scene. Yeah, it is being queued. Okay, so meanwhile, we will also look into the how we can communicate, how we can connect FTP tools to the our application here. This is our web app. Download publish profile. Okay, basic authentic is disabled. So we will configure furthermore small steps. Okay, we will enable SIM basic authentication, FTP authentication, and for just for instance, allow all. Save. Continue. Overview. Cancel. Yeah, it is being configured. Updating web app service successfully updated. Okay, now let restart this service. Download publish profile. Okay, let's try once again. It will also take some small 2 seconds. Okay, perfect. Application Gateway. Over there. Okay, so this is the FTP URL. It is there. I will just copy that FTP hostname. This is the FileZilla. It is there, and this is the username, and this is the password I'm going to pick. Yes, quick connect. Yes, perfect. So it is being connected to our FTP sites. Perfect. This is the site. This is the www root, and this is the hosting start. Yes, this is the, let's see. Okay, so you can see our content, web application content here, that we can manage explicitly. Okay, so your web app is running. So this is same as your web app is running. Okay, and waiting for your content. Okay, if you already deployed, it will take up to the 5 minutes after the component show up. Okay, now let's see what is happening here on our pipeline. Oh, so this is in queue. So this will associate takes some time. Okay, perfect. So here, as I am going into the that my pipeline, I can see all the steps are being completed successfully. Okay, yes. Now let's see how the our web app deployment is going there. Let's wait for that one. Okay, so once this completed, our application should point to the endpoint of this web application. All the desktops will get vanished. This will not be there. Okay, so here weather forecast will be should be available in the endpoint. Let's see what is happening in the perfect. The deployment also went successful. Now let's refresh this one. Come on. Yes, this page cannot be found. It means that it is not saying the site cannot be reached. It is just pointing to the page cannot be found. It means that our application is up. And now let's see what is happening. Yes, perfect. So our web endpoint is working perfectly. So that's all. So we will, this is the simple web app it is there. Okay. I just pushed into the that get repository there. Okay. And let's see. So for your references, I will show code one more time. Okay. World wrap. Okay. So these are the variables. Okay. Along with the location. This is how I have created the subscription. This is how I am creating the resource group or updating. The only one subnet is sufficient. And this one, creating the virtual network here. So this is the service app plan. This is the website. I'm going to configure here. So this is the important stuff here. So this is the Linux Apex version. Here I am seeing that this should comprises of the .NET 9.0. Okay, 9.0. If you want to some Docker, then you can go with the Docker and along with the your .NET version. Yes, client certificate mode is required here. So that certificate will pick up from the our resource manager, back another resource manager it is there. This is the resource manager group. Yeah, so this is the new certificate here. Issuance policy. Yes, you can see the subject name, which is exactly matching with your host name. Okay, which is nothing but this is what we are keeping here. Okay, so host name it is Vijay Kande. Okay, okay, so we are also going to create some SCM repository that will help to push our data from that pipeline to that web app service. So this is how it is the host type I have created for the repository here. This site config here. Here IP mode it is the IPv4. Okay. Here app service plan we need to map here. Okay. Yes. So this is the public IP, that is what we have said. This is the public IP. Okay. And then gateway IP configuration it is there. Front-end IP configuration it is there. Then gateway port it is there. Front-end port it is there. And backend address pool it is there. Okay. And this is the listener. And this is the routing group. Okay. Sample run. Okay. So that's all from mine, guys. Thank you for watching the video.